AF Archive, Alamy Stock Photo. There's a long and varied list of films that can provide deeper dedication to an enjoyment of the sport, so here's our list of classic movies and documentaries you should rent, download, or stream the next time you need some added motivation, listed in order of release date. 1 of 25 The Jericho Mile, 1979, by now as a defiant loner behind prison bars who finds the emotional release he requires through running, Peter Strauss deserved the Emmy he won. His staunch individualism will resonate with restless persons who did not opt for a team sport. The scenario is admittedly a bit improbable. Strauss' character becomes one of the country's top milers while incarcerated in Folsom Prison. But Strauss can really run, and when he talks about floating, it might be the first moment of unadulterated bliss in his character's life. Advertisement, continue reading below. 2 of 25 Chariots of Fire, 1981, by now the opening scene alone is worth a watch. It will make you want to run in the surf with your buddies to the sounds of the memorable score. There's a sensational set piece during the match race around the college courtyard at Cambridge, and you get well-drawn and contrasting 1924 Paris Olympic heroes, the taciturn and proud Harold Abrahams and jubilant and devout Eric Liddell. But Chariots plays very fast and loose with historic fact and stands up better if you worship all things British. The theme is still played at road races in the 21st century, it's that good. Advertisement, continue reading below. 3 of 25 Personal Best, 1982, by now Marielle Hemingway is credible as a gifted young pentathlete. In 2018, they're heptathletes, and a cast of actual Olympic-caliber athletes, including Patrice Donnelly, a real-life Olympic hurdler, who tells her, "Everything I've always wanted, you've got." The scenes of Hemingway and Donnelly running in the dunes of California inspired many imitators. Real-life Olympic marathoner and legendary sports writer Kenny Moore shows up as Marielle's other love interest, a water polo player. How can you not want to see this? Advertisement, continue reading below. 4 of 25 Running Brave, 1983, by now the small war of elbows between Billy Mills, Mohamed Gammoudi, and Ron Clark in the 1964 Tokyo Olympics 10,000 is thrillingly done here, with Robbie Benson far more believable as a, roughly, half-distance runner than he was as a pint-sized basketball hero in one-on-one. Mills struggles to overcome stereotypes and fight for the approval of his butt-headed coach, make it seem miraculous that he even got to Tokyo. The film's big payoff comes when the coach tells Benson, "Mills, that was the greatest race I ever saw a man run, and you think it was, too." Advertisement, continue reading below. 5 of 25 On the Edge, 1986. This was a labor of love for former University of Pennsylvania track star Bruce Dern. He was really good, and it was tough to finally get released and get it seen. The protagonist is the type of thorn in everybody's side that Dern plays so well. A man who paid dearly for rocking the boat in the dreaded amateur era seeks redemption by training for one of America's foremost mountain and trail races. The California scenery and the race action are everything you want, and the movie is not predictable. Advertisement, continue reading below. Advertisement, continue reading below. 6 of 25 The Running Man, 1987, by now will admit that this is a guilty pleasure, and doesn't involve running, in its truest sense. But how can you not want to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger run as a prisoner-turned-contestant where the ultimate prize is freedom? But first he has to escape death at the hands of professional killers. Advertisement, continue reading below. 7 of 25 Forrest Gump, 1994, by now this movie's reputation has slipped a bit since it swept the Oscars 20 years ago, but the gripes seemed more about what it doesn't do than what it does. It's surprising how much of the plot is taken up with running, most rewardingly, in the exquisitely photographed scenes of Gump's transcontinental treks. and the footage of young Forrest, dashing faster and faster to escape his tormentors' pursuit, condemned many of us to hear, "Run, Forrest, run," shouted out of passing cars for years afterward. Advertisement, continue rating below 8 of 25. Run Lola Run, 1998. I know it may be the most viscerally exciting running movie ever made, even if it's not really a running movie at all. A flame-haired German woman in Doc Martens sprints all over her city in an effort to save her thoroughly useless boyfriend. This is a movie for which the phrase non-stop action thriller was invented, but it's more stylish and electrifying than the typical lot. Lola doesn't take the bus. Lola, even in cartoon animated form, in some scenes, can really run. This is very nearly a training film. Advertisement, continue rating below 9 of 25. Without Limits, 1998. By now the second of two dramatized versions of the life of Oregon legend Steve Prefontaine is the slightly superior one, thanks in large part to a smartly understated performance by Donald Sutherland as his coach, Bill Bowerman. But Billy Crudup deserves credit for capturing the iconoclastic nature of Pre, equal parts charismatic and exasperating and, as cliched as it might sound, a rebel at precisely the 70s moment that track and field needed one. Advertisement, continue rating below 10 of 25. St. Ralph, 2004. By now it's uplifting and for those who really do believe in miracles. But for most, this requires a major suspension of disbelief, especially in the Boston Marathon sequences of a young Canadian boy who is somehow a serious contender at a very tender age. It also contains what must be, of all the dozens and dozens of renditions of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, the one that is the absolute worst. Advertisement, continue rating below. Advertisement, continue rating below 11 of 25. Spirit of the Marathon, 2007. I know it should be very high on everyone's list. The movie follows 6 runners, some fabled and some not, as they prepare for the 2005 Chicago Marathon. How can you not be moved when one of the 6 tells us, "I had really reached a point in my life where I didn't think that I could ever be happy again," and then finds, "I can pretty much do anything." Spirit of the Marathon got expert wisdom about the marathon from people who really are experts and can think and express themselves. Advertisement, continue rating below 12 of 25. Run for Your Life, 2008. By now, this is a very affectionate documentary about pioneering New York City Marathon director, Fred Lebow. It's a Valentine to distance running's development in New York, from the days when practitioners were few and Lebow was just about the slowest among them. He found, as the documentary capably reminds us, a way to make his indelible contribution. Advertisement, continue rating below 13 of 25. The Long Green Line, 2008. By now it's about the 2005 season of legendary Illinois coach Joe Newton and the 221 students who come out for his boys' cross-country team, even though more than 200 of them will be left behind when the major meets come. The effect Newton has on all of them is what's worth witnessing. The man who says, "It's nice to be great, but far greater to be nice," manages to make sure his kids are both. Advertisement, continue rating below 14 of 25. Desert Runners, 2013. By now if you are up for watching runners go through excruciating pain, then this documentary of a group attempting to complete the 4 deserts ultra races is right up your alley. Each race for these amateur runners is a little north of 150 miles and runs through the Atacama Desert, the Gobi, the Sahara, and Antarctica. Brutal. Advertisement, continue rating below 15 of 25. Unbroken, 2014. By now Louis Samperini qualified for the 1936 Olympics in the 5,000 meters, and had an amazing final lap while finishing 8th, but this film focuses more on what happens after he enlists in the army when World War II breaks out. After surviving a plane crash in the Pacific and spending more than a month adrift at sea, he's captured by the Japanese Navy. While the running isn't the centerpiece, it's the mindset of never giving up that works on all levels. Advertisement, continue reading below. Advertisement, continue reading below. 16 of 25 The Barkley Marathons, the race that eats its young. 2014. By now the name says it all, chronicling one of the most brutal races that only a handful of brave souls can actually try. Only 15 individuals have completed the 100-mile race in the hills of Tennessee over the race's existence. For years, the Barkley Marathons was a race that nobody talked about. You had to know somebody who knew how to enter to even have a chance at entry. This documentary gives a great look at the trials and tribulations that a small number of runners put themselves through each year, and why the race director, Gary Cantrell, designed the devilish race in the first place. Advertisement, continue reading below. 17 of 25 Gun Runners, 2015. This is a human interest piece following two Kenyan runners, Julius Errol and Robert Matanda, who put aside their life as countryside warriors to focus on the sport. Director and filmmaker Anjali Nair debuted this documentary in 2015. It shows how Kenyan runners go from poverty to reaching local and national fame in the sport. But it also displays just how hard it is to make it big in a country full of talented runners. Advertisement, continue reading below. 18 of 25 McFarland, USA, 2015. By now Kevin Costner stars as Jim White, a tough love coach who leads a team of mostly Latino students in the San Joaquin Valley to cross-country dominance. But like most underdog stories, it was a work in progress to get there. Advertisement, continue reading below. 19 of 25 50, the movie, 2016, follow Mel Law's attempt to run 50 mountain marathons over 50 peaks in 50 days around New Zealand in 2015. Law made a name for himself in his home country when he would take on daring feats to raise money for different charitable organizations. For this particular adventure, you get to see just what the body goes through when traversing such an intense terrain for that many days. Buy or download it at 50movie.co.nz. Advertisement, continue reading below. 20 of 25 Free to Run, 2016. By now, this documentary looks at the rise of distance running in the last 50 years, and focuses on some of the major runners and figures who have helped shape the sport. Some of the subjects include Steve Prefontaine's mark on the running scene, the situation at the New York Marathon shortly after Hurricane Sandy, and the growth of women's running after Kathrine Switzer ran the Boston Marathon in 1967. The film came out in 2016. Advertisement, continue reading below. Advertisement, continue reading below. 21 of 25 Showing Up, 2016, follow the lives of several November Project runners and athletes as they explain the reasons why they got into the grassroots free fitness movement. The movie chronicles everyday people in cities like New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., and Kansas City who hold themselves accountable by showing up at 6:30 a.m. for workouts a couple times a week. Chris Mosier, an elite duathlete who is transgender, plays a prominent role in the film as a member of the group. Watch the short documentary in the YouTube player. Advertisement, continue reading below. 22 of 25 Race, 2016. By now Jesse Owens is one of the biggest names in Olympic track. The plot centers around his growth as a runner in the face of discrimination at home and as the top athlete at the 1936 Olympics, where Owens shows off his burgeoning talents in Berlin in front of Adolf Hitler and his vision of Aryan supremacy. Advertisement, continue reading below. 23 of 25 Karl Meltzer, Made to be Broken, 2017. Famed ultra runner Karl Meltzer is followed in his journey to run the Appalachian Trail in record time. Red Bull sponsors this documentary, and they document Meltzer's third and final attempt at breaking the course record set by Scott Jurek in 2015. While it's probably not a good idea to attempt the feat after watching the film, you will definitely be motivated to get your feet wet and dirty on a trail right afterward. Watch the whole film on redbull.tv. Advertisement. Continue reading below. 24 of 25 Breaking 2, 2017. This is another one that never hit the big screen, but it's worth your time if you want to watch what happens when human performance and science work close together to push the boundaries of running. National Geographic's Breaking 2 special follows marathoners Eliud Kipchoge, Lalisa Desisa, and Zersanay Tadesse on their quest to break the 2-hour marathon barrier in 2017 along with a team of scientists from Nike. Once you get to know the runners, their race on a Formula One track in Monza, Italy, will leave you spellbound by the beauty of their attempt. Advertisement. Continue reading below. 25 of 25 Boston, the documentary, 2017. By now, this newer documentary by the creators of Spirit of the Marathon chronicles everything from the origins of one of the world's most iconic races to the tragedy in 2013 at the finish line. It's a complete look at everything Boston Marathon from some of the people who know it best. The film is narrated by Boston's own Matt Damon. Advertisement. Continue reading below. Advertisement. Continue reading below.